What is this guy doing? Unbelievable. Hi everyone, it's 314 Reactor here. Today we're going to be looking at Halo 2 with Reshade Ray Tracing by Marty McFly. So this is a pretty easy install. I think the issue that I was having in the last video where you had to clear the depth buffers to stop a weird graphical effect with the RTGI on, at least in Halo 1, is now fixed. So all you need to do is grab the latest reshade. You don't need to grab an old one anymore. At the time, the 13th of May, it's 461. Hit run. Navigate to Steam Apps, Common, Halo the Master Chief Collection, MCC Binaries, and then Win64, and then click on MCC Win64 Shipping.exe, hit open. Make sure it's on DirectX 1011, check all the shaders that you want, usually check the first load and then let the rest select default, and then once that's done, you'll find in the folder there's now a Reshade-Shaders folder, just go in there. And then you want to download the Reshade GI Beta from Mike McFly's Patreon in the Discord. You need to be a part of the Patreon, you need to connect it to your Discord, and then you can go in and grab the latest one. Just open that, open that. You can grab the textures and shaders folders and drag those over, and then they should transfer everything over you need. And then transfer over QUINT dither.fx, which is also in the Discord, and that goes into shaders. One thing you now don't need to do is to get the QUINT master.zip. If you go in there and look at the shaders, go in here, you go into there, and the files are already there. So with all that in, there should now be RTGI folder under there, and the RTGI FX file under there, and we should be ready to go. So let's do this. And then once you're in, you can just hit home and skip the tutorial. And I've got a preset here that I have. Let that compile. And I've just selected Global Illumination, DLC Sharpen, and Depth of Field. I'll disable DLC Sharpen and Depth of Field just so we can look at the ray tracing. One thing that does need to be done is need to go into the global preprocessor definitions and make sure that the reshade depth input is reversed. So just change that from a 0 to a 1. Okay, now we should be ready to go with some Halo 2. Alrighty, so here we are in game. Got the GI on. I've got ray length set to 20, ray amount set to 4, ray step amount to 20, Z thickness at the standard 50. Ambient occlusion I've turned down to 1, bounce lighting is at 6, and the fade out start end is maxed out. So if we enable and we flick over to the lighting channel, you can see everything that's going on here. So as usual, we've got the grass, got the shadows from the people here. So those shadows look a little bit crazy coming off that person there, so maybe I can do something about that.
Chief has point position.
Or they just move out the way, and then that's okay. Let's see what we can do with the overall scene. So I think we found with Unreal Tournament 3 that the ray length was pretty good at 12. Let's put it up to 14. Leave the ray amount at 4. Actually, maybe take that down to 3. Check that frame rate, D6. Let's keep that maxed out. Z thickness. This is probably where it could be adjusted a little bit. So that's the default. Somebody recommended that I tweak this in my last video, but I'm not entirely sure what the right setting is there. I think that's fine at default, .50. Ambient occlusion intensity, when it's at 4, I think it's just a little bit too strong, but maybe 1's a bit too weak there actually. So, actually, you know what, 4's okay. Bounce lighting intensity at 6. All the way up is probably a bit extreme. Let's leave it at 6. And let's check it what it looks like. Because that looks quite nice, I think. Let's try it with the RT on. There we go. Let's switch it off. Oh, that's very nice. And then back on. See, getting a lot of extra lighting on that truck there. A lot of extra shadows underneath there. Oh yeah, more shadows under the truck. The grass again looks a lot better, because it actually looks like it's shadowing the ground it's over the top of. And overall the lighting just looks a lot more realistic. Some extra shadowing on the Pelican there. Let's have a look at the tank here. Oh, look at the shadowing under that. There. Not there at all. Basically no shadowing coming off that tank, except a little bit there maybe. There's some real-time shadowing coming off of it. But that looks even better. That's very nice. So let's head into battle with... Oh yeah, you can see the glow, the global illumination glow from that van there. See the red bouncing off of it, and then off, completely gone, back on. I really like the lighting on the tank there. That looks really nice. If this person could just get on the tank, that'd be great. Oh, look at the red reflection there. The red bounce lighting coming from there on the tank. That's really nice. And the same for the pink colour coming off of the ghost there. Just on the ground. Unfortunately, the effect has no global illumination or ambient occlusion in the original graphics as far as I can see. So flicking it on and off doesn't seem to do anything to the original graphics. Let's check out the lighting channel while we're doing all this action. So you can really see all the colours there from the explosions and the vehicles, all the lighting from the muzzle flash. I think it really complements the sort of bright colours that Halo goes for, especially in terms of the plasma and stuff like that. I think it just gives the sunlight a warmer look and a more realistic sort of look. Because with the shadowing and the softness of the GI, just makes it really feel like it's actual sunlight rather than a light within the game. Let's have a look at the inside areas. It's adding quite a bit of shadowing there. Maybe a bit too much, maybe a bit too oversaturated. Ah, it's a bit better now. Let's turn it off. And then back on. So again, it's just adding... I think that's quite a subtle effect, the amount of shadowing that's adding. Not too excessive. Let's have a look at these lights up here. They look nice and soft, glowy. Let's turn the GI off. You can see the shadowing under there, the light bouncing there. Much better, much nicer. Tried configuring it so it's a little less excessive this time. Judging by some of the comments I get, it seems I turned some of these settings up way too high. Let's do some continuous fire testing. RT on. And we turn it off. So you can see there, adds a bit of an extra glow. That looks nice and clean. Ever since that flicker fix went in, it looks really good. Just all the shadowing, the GI there. You can even see the shadows being affected by the firing of the weapon there. Ooh, let's check out this area. This is with the RT on. And then we're switching it off now. Oh, you've got that extra sort of bloomy glow at the end there. That looks cool. And then just extra colour in the lights. Extra shadowing around there. Extra shadowing from those Marines. As we head out into the open. And the bloom wears off. See, this is why it's a nightmare, because there's like 4,000 Jackal snipers in this bit. Alright, so... let's get a good angle here. So the RT on. And let's switch it off. Oh, wow. Can't quite explain how much it really makes it feel more like actual daytime with the RT on. It feels much more realistic. Because that just looks really flat, fake sunlight, and then you turn it on. Much more real. Even makes, again, it makes the textures and surfaces look more real. Looks, because that is more like how I'd imagine sunlight would reflect off of a concrete sort of material. Let's have a look at the Warthog before we get on board. See, that just looks so nice. Bit of sunlight on it, the dirt on the wheels, and the metal effect. And then you turn the RTGI off. And it just looks so flat and lifeless. Like not real sunlight is shining on it at all. There's the shadow there, but there's no like ambient occlusion sort of shadowing going on. And then RT on. Boom. Let's turn it off. And then back on. Yeah, because you've even got like the shadow from the actual main chassis there on the tyres. So let's do a full comparison. Let's go old school graphics. And then we go to the new school graphics. And then we go to the new school graphics with the RTGI. And then new school graphics with the RTGI. Back to old school. Look at the difference. That is... yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious to say it, but that is a massive, massive difference. Oh, this is epic. Ooh, wow, look at that. Let's turn the RT off. And then back on. Oh, yes. That is tasty. That is really tasty stuff. Next up is going to be the Scarab. Let's see how that looks with the RTGI on. I imagine pretty awesome. The shadowing from the doors there. That's really nice. Look at that. That's nice. Alright. So with the RT on. And let's turn it off. And then back on. Oh, look at this extra shadowing, depth, lighting. Oh, the shadowing like bouncing off the walls there. Oh, that looks really nice. That's cool. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on DLC Sharpen and Depth of Field. And I've preset these so they should work okay. And the DLC Sharpen just really brings out the details on these textures. So this with all the effects on. And then off. And then back on. Looks really, really nice. Oh yeah, you can really see the shadowing from the hands there. Wonder if there's a way to turn that down. I think it is to do with the Z thickness. Yeah, that's some really strong shadowing coming with the hands and weapon there. So you can tone it down. Whoa! See, that seems to have had effect. There's a lot less shadowing coming off of the weapon and the hand there. But there's still shadowing on all surfaces you'd imagine. So the golden number for that appears to be a Z thickness of 30 by the looks of it. There we go, that looks a little better. Alrighty, so let's check out some Delta Halo. I think this is where the RT is really going to come into play. Alright, so here we are on Delta Halo. I've cleared out all the enemies in this area so we can look at the GI without being bothered. So this is with the RT off, and let's switch the RT on. Okay, so already you can see there's a big difference there. A lot of extra bounce light from the sun there. There's a lot of extra green GI being applied. Around the grass there's ambient occlusion being applied. And back off. He says extra shadowing around the ODSTs there. The sunlight's bouncing off them a bit more realistically. The colours look a little bit better. The shadowing looks a lot better. The green glow from the grass looks really good there. That bounce lighting, really nice. And the shadowing off the grass there gives it that depth. Again, that might be a bit too excessive. Some of you may say that's a bit too much, a bit too strong, but I really like it. Let's go indoors. Let's turn the RT off. And then back on. Again, the way the light is bouncing from behind us there, and the shadowing, again, really sells that the light is coming in that way and bouncing. Same here, RT off. Looks really flat and lifeless. The sun doesn't look real. And then on. Yeah, you really get the sense that the light is bouncing in there, just bouncing up on the walls there, but not quite down there where it's darker. Let's get this nice little beauty shot here. Let's turn the RT off. And then back on. Now that looks really good. So let's go forward to one last area and then we'll call it a day. Alright, so here we are. Nice little structure here. Lovely background. The sun coming through. Really nice. See, look at the lovely lighting in here. So much more real. The sharpening on those textures looks really good as well. Really adds a lot to the ground textures. That looks really nice. Let's get this nice scene here. RT on. And then we're switching it off. And back on. Seems like even the lens flare is getting a bit of bounce lighting there in the background. That's not strictly realistic, but there you go. Man, that looks nice.
Got him. Yeah, that's the way.
Okay, so that was Mike McFly's Ray Tracing Global Illumination Shader running on Reshade on Halo 2 PC on the Master Chief Collection. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you think there's any tweaks that need to be done to make this look a little bit better, if any of the effects need turning down. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good myself. It's just a shame it takes the frame rate down to about 40 to 56 FPS rather than a solid 60. I hope you're all staying safe. Please do like and subscribe. All the links for Reshade, etc. are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.